Ooh. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. The second day on this, no, sorry, it's the third day actually. The third day on this Ministers' Health series. And like we did promise, it's going to be an awesome time as we share on the Ministers' Health. Like I said when we started off on Tuesday, that the health of the minister is so crucial because of the nature of the calling of ministry. I was also able to make everyone understand that there is no job, there is no vocation that can be compared with it. And so, largely speaking, most of the people in medical science or medical sciences generally might not have all the answers to managing the health of the minister. So, my advice is for anybody who is listening to this who knows someone who is in ministry to encourage them to listen out to this series from the one we began with on Tuesday. We spoke about the peculiarity of the ministry, and then yesterday I spoke about health destroying habits and practices, which we co-menel. How are you? God bless you. Madam Funke Ashaolu, God bless you, ma. Thank you for joining us. So I spoke about why people in ministry should understand the peculiarity of their ministry. And yesterday we spoke about those myths, certain practices that people in ministry engage in that are dangerous and not helpful to their health. And so we'll go on today, and I'll be speaking about what I tagged super health secrets for ministry. Super health secrets for ministry. And so when I say super health secrets for ministry, I say that because I believe that you can do ministry and be in health. 3 John and verse 3, 3 John and verse 3, beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper and that you be in health, even as your soul prosper. You see, that is the will of God. But that prosperity there is as your soul prosper, that is, as you are prospering in your soul, you should not abandon, like we spoke yesterday about Epaphroditus. We shouldn't abandon the prosperity of our bodies. There are many people in ministry, they are prospering in their spirit. You see the prosperity of the spirit, we see the prosperity in the soul, we see the prosperity around them, but their physical bodies are not prospering. You see it in the way they look, you will see it in the way they use their bodies, you will see it in the way they exert so much pressure on this physical body. And like I said on Tuesday, your body is the visa that guarantees you a stay on this side of eternity. If you have not been using it well, if you abuse your body, then the day the body packs up, everything else you think you have, the dreams, the visions, and the aspirations, they are all gone. I start reading today from Psalm 103. Psalm 103. I want to read two scriptures, and that will be the first one. Psalm 103 will be the first scripture that I will want to read today. It's going to be on the screen shortly. Right. I read from the King James Version. It says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name." Verse 2, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all of his benefits, all of his profits, all the good things that he has done." He says, do not forget. Say, bless the Lord, O my soul. And then we go on to verse 3. He says, he forgives all your iniquities, who heals all your diseases, who redeem your life from destruction, who crowns thee with loving kindness and with tender mercies. And verse 5, he says, who satisfies your mouth with good things, so that your youth is renewed like the eagles. And see, yesterday, as we were concluding the series yesterday, I spoke about having a proper understanding of when the Bible talks about healing, because in most cases where the Bible refers to healing, the Bible also backs it up, or it talks about health. And so health and healing are like two wings. And the Bible spoke about that a whole lot. We were able to read that yesterday, that we should understand the place of health and we should understand the place of healing. God has made provision for our health. But when we break this covenant, either by the breaking of the covenant, by going against the law of God and the law of nature for which things uphold and consist, then sickness, diseases, infirmity may come in. There's a compromise, and then disease, infirmity may come in. And so God has also gone ahead to make provision that when that passage or that route, that pathway is broken and there is a sickness, He has made a provision for healing. And then it's now left for us to use that provision for healing that God has made available. But first of all, what God gives is health. And many people talk about divine health, which is ability to go for a long time, long number of years without having any recourse to any medication or medical care, because you are sound, you are healed, and you are healthy. And that is the promise of God for everybody and for every believer. But most things we do, they violate the principles and the laws of God that can make anyone to live healthy. And so this psalm we just read articulated a few things that we do sometimes that reverses that condition for health that God has put in place. But for the sake of this study today, I'll be focusing on this verse 5. It says, He satisfies your mouth with good things so that your youth is renewed like the eagles. And now we all know about the story. We've preached, some of us has preached about the eagle. We talk about how strong the eagle bird is, how the eagle bird will thrive in crisis, and while other birds will not thrive. We've heard so many things about the eagles, and that is wonderful, that is applaudable. But the psalmist here is comparing the kind of strength that God gives to His people with the strength of the eagle. And why would that happen? He gave us the reason, is that our mouth is satisfied. It's a function of what goes into our mouth. It's a function of what we feed on. So one of the super secrets I'll be sharing today, I said was a good another Bible passage, and that will be after I take about 3 nuggets from here, and I will take one other nugget from that other scripture before we run up for today. But they are super secrets. Even if you don't want to like my face again for the rest of your life, please like the things I'm going to say in the next couple of minutes. They will be a lifesaver. You don't have, everybody cannot like me. Okay, I've learned to live with that for the rest of my life. Okay, and so before this guy gets off your face, let me just say one of the things you need to understand is that paying attention to your meal, to how you feed, to what you eat, it cannot be overstretched. A lot of people have spoken about that. Some people will be like, I know. Earlier today, I saw somebody who posted something. I'm still wondering, oh, right, so you are still here. I've been shouting about this all year. You don't even know. You have not even listened. It's so funny when people also are your friends. They tend to know what you are doing, but they never pay attention to it. Anyway, that's no problem. Okay, and I also saw that now I'm seeing so many pastors who are going to the gym. They want to build 6-pack and all of that. That is, it's applaudable. It's a good thing to do. The Bible says bodily exercise profited little. And that little is what some people think is not important. They want to just tramp and say it's just little, but that little means a whole lot. But there is a need to have the proper education and the proper enlightenment. What exactly are you doing? What exactly are you doing rightly? Some people just feel, well, I'm doing everything rightly. I think I'm okay. But it is until they get to be talked to that we know that they are not okay. About cases of people who come, especially on issues of fertility. And then when you ask them questions like, have you guys done tests and all of that? They will tell you, oh, yes, we have done every test. I usually stress that every test until I begin to now ask them, okay, have you done this one? They said no. Have you done that one? They will say no. Have you done this one? They will say no. Why have you not done them? Because the doctors would undo them, told them they have done every test and nothing was wrong. But alas, there are several other tests that could have been carried out that the doctors probably are not even aware of. I was saying something to someone, go do test to check for the level of heavy metals that are in your system. And the person said, where do I get this test done? How do I tell my doctor? What name will I call the test for my doctor to know? I said, when you see your doctor, you should know what test. The person came back and my doctor said he has never heard of such a test before in his about 2-3 decades of practice. Do I blame the doctor? No, I do not, because that is a mode of preparation, mode of learning that was given to them, the method of medicine that was given to them. And having a heavy test is heavy metal test is something that is so important. There are so many conditions that the denying factor is because the body is it's having several metal toxins that were accumulated through heavy metals. And so there is not any medication we do. They will keep treating that person and they will never get a solution. The reason we need to pay attention to some of these things that we'll be discussing. So as a pastor, what does your normal routine look like for an entire week? I've seen so many ministers who take out Monday as their day of rest because Sunday is a busy day. And there are those who don't even believe in it. So they work Sunday to Sunday. I'm not saying that you have to adopt Monday as your day off. If it works well for you, fine. If you think you can run it from Monday to Monday, then albeit it's all well and good. But one thing I'm going to say is that the Almighty God, the maker of heaven and earth, who worked and created the entire earth in 6 days, he actually took out 1 day out of the 7 days to rest. Yesterday, when we were about to close, I was quoting Joshua chapter 1 and verse 8. Joshua chapter 1 and verse 8, this book of the law shall not depart from your mouth. Thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. All that is written therein. I love the way Apostle Paul finished that place. That if you are going to stand on one law, then you have to obey all of the laws for you to actually be justified. All right, but nobody can do that, right? But he said for you to do according to what I did, said then that will make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success. Now, if you want to have good success, you want to make your way prosperous, you want to live in health, keep to the law. And I said yesterday, what are the things in those laws? When you sit down and study the things in the laws are broken into about 5 parts. There is a law of communal living, community living. There is a law for agriculture. There's a law for hygiene. The criminal law is also there. What do you do to people who commit crimes, which I will call civil law, as the case may be, and then the law of your faith, your belief, your religion, the things that you do, your time between your God and yourself, right? Those will be the various aspects those laws were broken down into. And then when you look at the law of hygiene, the things God told them, He spoke about their diet, spoke about their lifestyle, He spoke about what they do about hygiene to keep the camp clean. He spoke about cases of pandemic or epidemic. If there's a breakout of any disease within the people of God, how do they handle it? He spoke about how lepers are to be treated, how they are going to be certified as clean, even when there were no doctors among them. And that was what the psalmist was referring to when he said, when there were no people as they moved from one country to another, He suffered no man to do them wrong. He reproved kings for their sake, saying, touch not my anointed, do my prophets no harm. They had no doctor, they had no hospital, they had no system. And so God had to give them those laws. And now when you also check the laws, they got to a point where we got to them, when you get into the land that your Lord, your God gives you, these and these and these and these are the things you are to do. And so the point I'm trying to emphasize there is that it's important for us to stress this out for every one of us. The law of the Sabbath, which we think it's about having Sunday separated to the service of God. That is the way we interpret Sabbath. Especially in I don't want to use the word Pentecostal, in our own generation of believers, we believe Sabbath means remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. And keeping it holy means on Sunday you go to church. That is the way we have interpreted the Sabbath. But that is not God's explanation. As a matter of fact, Jews don't go to the synagogue on the Sabbath. They stay at home, they do nothing. If their son is ill on the Sabbath day, they are not going to take that child to any hospital until the following day. They wait till 12 a.m. when they can move that child out. There have been so many cases, and they still do that up to today. if you see any Jew in any Jewish community. But the point of Sabbath is rest. And that is what God was trying to stress and talk to the people about. That the way the heaven and the earth is made, and again, I dare say that even the law of the Sabbath has to do with tithing. And because the core concept of it is that whenever God is doing something, there's always a part of it that he keeps back. God, you always have a reserve. He's always having a plan to keep something back, to reserve something, right? And so if you study from creation, you will see how God has made plans. In all of his plans, there are options A, B, C, D, E. That okay, if this one fails, this will not fail. God puts the light in the heavens. Bible said he made two lights, one to govern the day, one to govern the night. So both of them cannot fail at the same time. There is always a reserve that is always having for himself. And so when he even made man, he made man in a way that, look, every other thing he has made, well, he made them to begin to operate. And he now made one special for himself. That one he keeps for himself. He makes that one unique. He makes that one special. He made 7 days and 1 day he rested. He separated that 1 day from every other day of the week. And then when you keep on reading and reading, you will see how God now made entire world. People are beginning to grow and multiply. Out of all the nations of the earth, he still kept one back for himself. He calls them his own chosen people. He began that race through one man. And then you keep going on like that. It's the same principle he applies when you say, okay, the law of tithing, you plant all your seed. Let me just have 10% of whatever you make, your income. Put it aside, bring it here. He spoke about you using your land. How do you farm on your land? If you plant, you cultivate your land for 6 years. On the 7th year, God says, let the land rest. It's still a principle in agriculture that is still being used up to today. It was initiated by God. Let the land rest so that the land can refresh, the land can be renewed, it can be rejuvenated so that it can keep continuing. God has not made anything to begin to run in perpetuity without something to sustain it. The Bible says he sustains the whole world by the word of his mouth. And so there is always something God has put. There is a self-generating power that God has put in everything he made. So it is now wisdom for us to sit down and study these things and know which one is he talking to us about. What is God actually saying? And how do we tap into what God has said? Which is where the principle of rest becomes important for everybody who want to live long. I said yesterday, the only man who ran the kind of ministry that will live the kind of life that, you can say, okay, he was just working, was Jesus. And even Jesus rested. Because he was God in man, he put on the flesh. Bible says that we don't have a high priest that could not be touched with the feelings of our infirmity. He himself was tempted. It means he went through the things we went through. He was tired. Jesus was hungry. He was tired. He was thirsty. There are several things. Jesus wept. He displayed emotions. He wasn't lying. He was not pretending to be something. That he was a real man. And he exhibited all the features. He slept when he had to sleep. And yesterday I said he overslept to the point that there was a storm. And Jesus was so tired that he did not even feel the storm. It's not because he was so relaxed, but because the body had worked, the body needed to rest. I needed that rest. So who are you now to walk like that? And Jesus did all of that for 3.5 years. Imagine you that want to run a ministry that will run for 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. How do you want to run it? You want to run when you hear people's testimony. You are listening to testimony of people that when they died, they died at 59, 54, 58, 60 years, despite the anointing and the call of God upon their lives. And I want to say this: if you are in itinerary ministry, you travel up and down, to and fro. This is important that you listen to. It will bless you a great deal, because there is nothing that cuts people's lifespan, I say it, energy wise, than traveling. Sitting down in a box, and then you being in that box for a long amount of time. You are in a stationary position, but you are not stationary, because there is movement going on. It has a great toll on your body. There's a great toll. It exerts a whole lot on your system. Then when you now get down, you are still going to do what people who did not engage in that kind of a travel, what they are still going to do, engage in. So that is like double, thank you, sir, even engine rest. That is like double stress on you and double stress on your system. Go and study the lives of most itinerant ministers. Go and study their lives. Except those who have been able to understand these principles, most of them don't pass that second or the third score of their lives. Most of them don't. The body is used up. It's not even an accident that kills most of them. It's another sad fact. They travel more than everybody, but they don't even die by accident. It's not car crash or whatever. By the time most of them are passing on, it's because of one sickness, cardiac arrest, and the likes of them. So what do you want to do with your food? I want to first of all say that eat for strength. It's important for you as a man of God to know that your eating must be for strength. Do not eat for any other thing. Don't just carry food because you want to eat. Rather, eat for strength. And what do I mean by eating for strength? You see, sometimes some of the food that we eat, they are not for strength. They do not give us any strength at all. Instead of them to strengthen us, they weaken us. And why does this happen? It's because we don't even know, and then we don't even know what is in those food. We think we are eating things that are giving us strength, but on the long run, they're not giving us strength at all. So it's a serious concern. And then every man of God must pay attention to this. Don't allow people, except you can trust them, and then you know what they are up to. It is only that you can say, okay, you can trust them with your food. I organize teaching seminars, counseling, training sessions, and I've seen some of my training sessions where some pastors cannot attend. They will send their wives to attend because she's in charge of the kitchen. And for sincerely, most of those women, when they go back, some of them feel guilty, and I can feel their guilt because they know that when they come for the training session, they discover that they have been ignorantly, wrongly feeding their spouses. They have been wrongly feeding the man of God. So I say, eat for strength. And you cannot eat for strength. It's not just about what you are eating. It also has to do with how you eat, when you eat. So I will deal with those three quickly. And so, before I talk about how you eat, let me talk about when you eat. And so to know when you are to eat, when you eat, you must understand your body and its clock. The clock of the body is called the Circadian Clock. And that is the clock of the human body, and everybody has gotten that. And that clock of the body is like a timetable when you were on campus, when you were in school. You have first period, second period, third period, up till I think you have 8 periods, because after the first 2 periods, I think you go for short break. Another 3 periods, you go for long break, and then you have 2 periods, and there is closing. I think that should be about 7 or 8. I can't remember actually now. So the body is also functioning in periods. So we have 24 hours in a day. Of the 24 hours, there are 3 periods. I call them 3 phases. And these 3 phases, the body is having a subject, right? There is something the body is doing for every phase. There is a subject for that phase. So when you were in school, they will not tell you are having physics, for example, and then you enter physics class with a chemistry textbook, or you carry English textbook into your literature textbook into your physics class. They will banish you, right? But unfortunately, this is what most of us do. One, because we don't have the timetable of our body, we don't understand what is going on. And then number 2, aside from the ignorance, some people don't even know what to do, even if they have that understanding. So I will quickly break that into 3. The 3 things that happen, which is the ultimate, they are the priority functions of our body. Number 1, the first period of the body starts between 4 a.m. and 12 noon. Between 4 a.m. and 12 noon. And that period is known as the period for detoxification. Detoxification. That is what the body is doing at its peak. So during this period, the body is trying to exit from its system waste products, toxins, metabolic waste from its system. That's what the body is trying to exit between this period, between 4 a.m. and 12 noon. That is why for people who are normal, and when I say normal, I mean people who are healthy, whose systems are functioning properly, when they wake up in the morning, the very first thing they want to do is to have what I call bowel movement, right? And there are people who do not have bowel movement 2 days. When I say bowel movement, I mean to go and poo. Some people don't poo in 3 days, some in 2 days. It is a dangerous thing. In one of my books, don't ask me again, where can we buy it? They have refused to release them. So I'm like, maybe I'll begin to put them out as ebooks. I don't know. Right? I call the book Body Talks, and it talks about the signals and signs that your body might be giving you even before you go for a test for confirmation. There are many people that their body has given them signals, but they cannot correctly interpret those signals. I'm not saying those signals are final. There could be symptoms that will lay claim to about 1,000 diseases. For example, fever is not only common with malaria. There are several conditions that could bring up fever. Many of us don't understand that. And that's why in Nigeria, when somebody is having fever, they first want to give the person malaria treatment, even if it's for typhoid. It's after malaria treatment has failed and the fever persists, they will now think it is typhoid. Let's go and do typhoid fever. Right? That is what happens. But fever is not only for malaria. Fever is a symptom for several conditions that could be wrong in the body. So in that book, one of the symptoms, I spoke about so many things that your body can be telling you, and once you receive those signals, your body is telling you something is wrong. So I tried to explain body symptoms and what is going on. And one of the symptoms I talked about that you should check is when you're unable to poo regularly. And regularly means that the normal thing is that at least you should poo once in 24 hours. When I say poo, that one makes more sense. You should have bowel movement at least once in 24 hours. Dear man of God, if you are not having bowel movement once in 24 hours, it is time to cry out. Something is terribly wrong. It could be an underlying factor for several things. And in most cases, when things are caught early, they are always better. So, and then what kind of poo are we talking about? You look at the quality of the poo. The poo must be normal in quality and in quantity. When we say the quality of the poo shouldn't have traces of the meal of last night or the meal you just had. That shouldn't be the normal occurrence. If it has traces of food, that means it is not normal. It shouldn't have a trace of blood. It shouldn't have trace of milk or mucus in it. It shouldn't do that. If it's doing that, some people, they poo regularly, they have mucus in their stool. That also is not normal. The shape also determines the quality. If your stool is not well formed, some people, their own drops like pellets in droplets. That means something is wrong already. All those are signals telling you that something is wrong and you need an attention quickly within your system. Some people, their own is like thin. It's like sausage. Sausage is not too common in Nigeria. If you eat, people who eat that's not burger. What's that now? It's a sandwich or whatever that. I don't know what those things are. But the sausage, that tiny sausage, that's where some people's poo look. That is not normal. The size, it should be long like a banana, not plantain. Like plantain, not banana. That should be have like a medium banana, a medium plantain. That should be the normal size in terms of the girth of the poo. And then it shouldn't be too hard. If it's too hard that when you go to the toilet, you are beginning to make sign like a woman who is in labor that is being told to push. Push. That means that poo is also not normal. And then when you poo, the whole toilet is smelling that we need to spray everything in the air. Something, you need to call 911 to attend to your poo. Something is wrong. It means your poo is not normal. And so I've spoken about the quantity and the quality of the poo. So all of these will tell you that something is wrong with the way your body is detoxifying. Detoxification is not only by fecal passage or stool or by stool alone. Detoxification, the exit of waste product from our body, also takes place in the largest organ of the human body, which is the skin. Right? If you want to know what happens in your body, get a very clean bedspread. Something very clean. You've only cleaned. You just washed it. Make sure it is maybe use laundry or washing machine to clean and wash it. Now spread it and lay on it. And then the following morning, take the same bedspread, take it into water, soak it again, and you would see how much of material comes, how much you will see a film, coming out of that water, right? Is because your body has shed skin cells. Skin cells. That is why if you go to the bathroom, people whose bathtub clogs, you will watch the water. You see, where is all this waste and death coming from? Even if you have your bath 2 times, just give them like 1 hour interval and go and bath again. Because every day of our lives, 50 billion cells are shed. We shed 50 billion cells, and 50 billion new cells are used, are replaced, are reproduced every day. In fact, by the time we say Happy New Year, it is actually a Happy New You. It was not the you that was that we had last year, 12 months ago, that we are having now. Virtually every cell in your body had gone through the process of replacement. And so the time to detoxify mainly is between 4 a.m. and 12 noon. That is what the body is doing maximally. The second period is between 12 noon and 8 p.m. 12 noon and 8 p.m. And at that stage, what the body is doing is what we call assimilation. So in that period, the subject is called assimilation. What is assimilation? This is the time when the body digests the food, the nutrients, make them bioavailable, and then the body can now absorb those nutrients, use them for all its various functions. At this stage, at this point, you see, when people say they are hungry, your body doesn't know eba, it doesn't know gari, it doesn't know yam and all of that. All your body knows and understands are nutrients. And so when you feel a hunger pang or you feel a crave, you feel craving, you have craving for a particular food, or you have a longing for a particular food because there's a nutrient in that food your body is looking for. And so you've been feeding your body nutrient from that particular food. So it's always looking forward to that kind of food. It's not that food per se, it's a particular nutrient in that food. And sometimes it could be so minute. That food may have a little trace of that nutrient and have more things in that food that are not helpful to your body. So when you keep feeding your body that nutrient through that particular food, it becomes injurious to you, which is what many of us don't know. And then we keep feeding and eating because we feel like eating that particular food and it's what our body craves. But your body is not craving food, it's only craving nutrients. Your body doesn't know food, your body only knows nutrients. So if you can give your body the nutrients it requires, some cravings will completely be dormant. Right? They will completely go underground. If you give the body that nutrient the body requires, the cravings will not be an issue. And so that is where the body gets all the nutrients and then distributes the nutrients and make them bioavailable to the various cells of the body that requires them. And number 3, which is the third period or the third phase, it runs from 8 p.m. at night to 4 a.m. in the morning. And this period is what we call rejuvenation. At this period, what the body is going through is repair, replace. The body is trying to fix things that have gone wrong using the nutrients it has acquired in the previous phase, and now in this phase is now carrying on the repairs. If you understand that phase or that period is also the period of rest. This circadian timing is in God's way and in God's knowledge. You remember when God will make Eve out of the body of Adam. The first thing God did was to put Adam to sleep. And now this process of repair and replace takes place more at night, which is why as a man of God, as somebody in ministry, your time of sleep must be taken seriously. A whole lot of us are doing what we are doing. Our body is not having sufficient sleep. So repair and replace is not taking place. Either it is happening halfway or is not happening at all by the virtue of our sleep deprivation. Okay? And so understanding your body clock is important. So how do you now eat for strength? It means that in the morning, between 4 a.m. and 12 noon, eat those foods that will support the body's process of detoxification. That will greatly help if you eat food that will support the body's detoxification. Between 12 and 8 p.m., eat food. You can now eat food that will support your body, give your body nutrients that the body requires. And from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m., everybody should be sleeping, except you belong to another cult. You should not be eating at that time. The body should be at a place of rest, and then you should rest. So as a man of God, how do you do this? You're asking me the question. I wake up, for example, on Sunday morning, what does your week look like? On Sunday morning, you're already, probably you slept late. Some people wouldn't sleep like 3 a.m. They are trying to make preparation for lecture notes and the likes of them. And so 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., depending on how close they live to church, they're already in church by 7 a.m. First service, we go on. Second service, we go on. Third service, we go on. And then if you belong to the school of thought of some men of God who cannot preach without fasting, many men of God preach on a fast. There is nothing wrong with it if that is your conviction. Glory be to God. But how do you run and manage your time with this kind of schedule? Because your body needs to feed and eat. This is my general warning, advice. When you understand your body and its clock, what you are trying to say is this: for the period of detoxification, you don't need to eat anything that is cooked, because once it is cooked, it is an overload on the body for digestion to take place, because digestive enzymes, some phytochemicals and phytonutrients are thermosensitive. Under high heat, they lose their nature, and so the body cannot synthesize or ingest them. So it's going to be a heavy load on the body to ingest those cooked food. So what do you eat in the morning? Don't take anything cooked. Eat raw food. Try to, some people say, how can I be taking pap in the morning when I'm not sick? Pap is a food for sick people. Then don't not be taking pap in the morning. Make it light and take it in and go to church to preach. If you are the type that believe in fasting before you go to preach, try this one and you will see how the anointing will flow. Amen. Now, before, as you are going in the morning, just grab a pack of juice. And when I say juice, I'm talking about those ones that are packaged in container that you buy off the shelf. I'm talking about a freshly made juice, or you do a smoothie, freshly made smoothie. Let your wife, or you can do it yourself, prepare it yourself. Make your smoothie, make it more of vegetables than of fruits. There are fruits and there are vegetables. Like I said, once you are crossing age of 35, you should reduce the level of fruits that you ingest. I see many men of God say, they said we shouldn't be eating anything cooked. I only eat fruits these days. Don't just eat fruits. It's not about eating fruits. What exactly are you eating? And how are you eating it? These are the things I'm trying to explain. So you do more of vegetables in your smoothie and less of fruits. Play down on fruits. Use more of vegetables. And what are the vegetables? Parsley is there. Celery is there. I'm hearing somebody saying, what is parsley? What is celery? Maybe I should even begin to put them up there. Parsley, celery, avocado. You can include an apple. Okay. You can include an apple as well. Yeah. If you don't know what these things are, just go on to Google and Google those names on Google. Google will show you a picture. Take it to any grocery store around you, or you look for those malams who live around you, who sell vegetables and fruits, and just show them. They have the name, they call it in their own language, and they will show you what is on that picture. When it comes to apple, do more of the green apple. You can do the red apple as well. And then, I've just given you a list of vegetables and just added only one fruit, and that fruit is apple. This is a good blend. If you do not have diabetes, if you are not sure you have diabetes, please go for a test or buy a glucometer. If you don't have diabetes, you can add banana. One stick of banana is okay, and that gives it a taste. Banana will add it a sweet taste. If you don't care about the taste, just mix what I've just put up there: parsley, celery, avocado, and apple. Juice it together, put it in your blender. And then when we talk about blender, let me advise also, try to get blenders that are at least 800 watts. 800 watts. There are so many blenders out there that I see that they sell. Some of them are 150, some of them are 160 watts. Those ones won't do smoothie for you. You want to do a good smoothie that you're going to enjoy, get watts, get blenders about 800 watts. And then just put this in your blender, and then you are good to go for the day. This will give you energy. You can also, the apple is there, so it will give you energy. Banana will help you, will energize you. Banana help with your production of serotonin. And that is why you never see a depressed monkey. Every monkey, even the ones in the dory, they're always jumping and very happy. Why? They eat banana. Banana helps to enhance. Banana is a mood enhancer, right? So your energy level will also be boosted. And your fasting is still continuing. Who says you are breaking the fast? Just take a sip of that and then walk into the office. When you drop it there, drop it by your side. Go ahead to preach. When you finish preaching, come and finish the rest. Hallelujah. You will see how the unction will flow. Except you have been expressly told by God not to take that kind of a drink. And that shouldn't be all of the time. Hallelujah. And so the other one I want to talk about also is that while you are doing your preaching on a Sunday morning, that people are drinking water is not fashion. We used to think that it is fashion in those days. When we see those big preachers, they have water beside them as they are preaching. You say, they can't even preach for 1 hour. They are drinking water. What are you drinking water for? Yeah? Now we know better. Please have a bottle of water around you. Not only when you are preaching, even in meetings. There are many men of God, because of the background and how we grew up. I remember the first money, myself and my friend, now my friend is in the US now, we got some money. And then it occurred to us, can this be refrigerated? Oh, yes. In fact, when you are making your smoothie, I should also add that you should also put in ice cubes. They're always best. You make your smoothie chilled. It's always better when you make it chilled. So it comes out chilled. And you can put it in your refrigerator. It's preserved. As long as it's refrigerated, it's preserved. You can follow its degeneration by the way you see the greenery of the smoothie turning brown. If it's beginning to turn brown, then you know it's already going bad. So put it in your refrigerator, that will guide you. It can be there for 2-3 days. I do have some in my refrigerator for 2-3 days, and it's there. I just get there, take a sip of it, and I go. And then to add up to that, you can now have some superfoods or some meal replacement, some nutritional shakes. Just put a scoop of nutritional shake into that. You have a very healthy superfood. You can add some chia seed, flax seed. You can add those ones into it. That's the source of omega-3. And then you mix all of it together. You are good to go for the day. This, when people say, I will be hungry. I saw one man who said, I do powerful work. I cannot be eating everything. I laughed. I said, your body does not know about what your body requires are nutrients. If you give your body the nutrients required, you will not go hungry. It is when the nutrients are depleted, that is when a hunger signal is sent to the body, right? Which is what most of us get sometimes, and we don't understand what the body is signaling and how do we interpret that signal. And so have a bottle of water beside you while you are talking, while you are preaching, while you are counseling people. It will save your life. Don't allow them. I was talking about my friend when we were young. I think we were in GS3 or thereabout then. And then we got some money. The first thing we went to do, I was like, when I was growing up, cornflakes, because I grew up in a large family. We were 9, plus my daddy and my mom, 9 of us. So you can imagine how to feed that family on a breakfast of cornflakes in a country like Nigeria in those days. Cornflakes and milk. So cornflakes was an essential food. Essential in the sense that it's a how do I call it right now? I mean, it's not something you come about all the time, you know. So it's like if you are lucky that cornflakes land on your plate, man, and then how much are you going to even eat? That will be enough. So I always look at it like, hey, this is a special privileged food. The day that money came, like they said that the first money a child has, we used to buy akara. My friend, we bought a pack of cornflakes. We bought 2 things of meat. We sat down and we began to eat. We ate and finished the cornflakes, and I almost passed out. I couldn't lie down. I couldn't stand up. I was feeling so constipated. I was like, what is this? To drink more water to flush it out was impossible because I was already filled up with cornflakes. This is the life many men of God are living right now. The background they came out from looks to be not too privileged. Now that they have now entered into ministry, some money is coming in, some affluence is coming in, some provision is coming in. And now they believe that they want to compensate for the things they lost while growing up. Unfortunately, age is no longer on their side to afford them that kind of thing they think they have lost any longer. So you now enter into the office of the man of God. You see the refrigerator beside them. When you open it, you'll find all kinds of 5 are dead, 5 are rubbish, all in there. He will tell you these are the evidence of good living. Not knowing that those things are actually digging his grave and may cut short his ministry. When we open your refrigerator, what should we find? It should be fresh fruits, fresh juices, fresh smoothies, vegetables that are alive, not the ones that are dead. There is nothing in 5 alive. I'm mentioning the name, I'm sorry, because what is there is chemical that have been synthesized. That is what is there. One time, President Obama, when he became president, they were telling him that the price of 5 alive was going up. He said, why do people need 5 alive? They should go to the farm and get oranges plucked for themselves and eat it. That's better off. He said that because he is a farmer. And you see, when we pray for our leaders to die, I used to pray. I used to hear many people pray that prayer several years back. When I remember when Abacha was in power, when IBP was in power, we must die. Some people are praying the prayer now in 2020. Some people are behind COVID. They want to lock up the church. Holy Ghost, kill them. Not all of them will die. You know why they will not die? Because they are taking good care of their health. They are taking. There is no general. Go and find out. Most of the generals in Nigeria, they have a farm where the food, they do the farm for commercial purpose, and then the food they even eat on their table is fresh from farm to table. It is the poor people who are struggling to go and buy Mr. Small. I won't mention the name. You know the name of Mr. Small. Somebody's asking me a question. I'll answer that question briefly. I asked people jokingly, I said, have you seen somebody who with a Ferrari parked beside a fast food restaurant? You don't have time for that. They have somebody who is bringing the food fresh to them. They don't eat frozen animals. If they're going to eat any animal, it is not those raised on chemicals. Those animals are raised organically in their farms, their private farms. They can make every other food mass for the people to feed on, but it's not for them. Unfortunately, the richest man in Africa, who they said every day there's no way you will wake up in Africa that you will not use a product from that man. Unfortunately, if you go to find, I don't know, but I won't be surprised if himself does not use most of those products. For example, table sugar, the table salt, which he produces largely, he might not even be using them. We have tried to register sea salt in Nigeria. Somebody was trying to do that one to get NAFDAC approval. They told him, why do you have to start importing sea salt from Cotonou since we have table salt here? And the person was like, there are two different products, sea salt and table salt. One is refined, one is not refined. And the one that is not refined is the healthy one. Just the way, now I think I'm talking about the second part of it right now. Just the way most of us don't know that the parboiled rice that we eat, which we eat mostly, is not a healthy rice. The healthy rice is the ofada rice. And I remember in those days, if you cook ofada rice in your house, people say it has a smell. Have you heard people say that one? These days, people don't say it again. It has now become the fashion food. In fact, some people call it designer rice. If you go to some restaurant in Nigeria, they will call it designer rice. But that is the main rice. It has all the nutrients in it. It has not been polished. And it's the reason people blame carbohydrates. They say, oh, the reason you are going fat is because you are eating carbohydrates. Stop eating carbohydrates. One of my grouse with the keto diet that is going on, the fad with the keto diet. There is no diet. If somebody is telling you don't take carbohydrate, then that is not the diet. And I'm not sure keto diet is saying don't take carbohydrate. What it's saying is that less carbohydrate. But again, that can be explained. And I will tell you that carbohydrate is not the problem because your body needs carbohydrate. Just like there was a time we were told don't eat fat. But our body cannot function without fat. Our brain needs fat. The brain cells, they need fat to function. Without enough fat in your system, your reproduction will be hindered. Your reproductive system is going to be hindered. But people don't know these things. They just follow the fad, the fashion, and then they fall for it. What I'm trying to say is that carbohydrates that we eat mostly in Nigeria, they are the refined and processed carbohydrates. The moment they are refined and processed, they become useless for the body. The body can't convert them into glycogen that it can use to burn fuel. They will be like bad fuel. It's like you going to buy kerosene and you pour kerosene into your car. You want to burn your car engine with kerosene. Is kerosene from crude oil? Yes, it is. What kind of oil it is? The austerity. All of those things are things that will affect the running of kerosene, using kerosene as a fuel for your car. So once the refiners take place for most of the carbs that we ingest, they become useless for the body. So the body stores them up as adipose tissue. The body can't process them. It's the reason people have irritable bowel syndrome. It's the reason people have colon issues. It's the reason people cannot go to toilets more than maybe once in 3 days. Why? The things they are ingesting as carbohydrates are bad carbohydrates. If you will eat the good carbohydrates, you will be fine. And then you can eat your cooked meal. Is anything wrong with our food? Our amala, our eba, nothing is wrong with them. Our yam, nothing is wrong with them. But like I just explained with our fathers right now, prepare and process them properly. Watch the process from farm to table. And that will give you a clue whether they are healthy. One of the clues I've listed here is that you should eat your food as close to nature as possible. Everything you use, use them as close to nature as possible. Unfortunately, we have grown on a culture of importation. Almost everything is imported. And you know one funny thing, what I'm saying, like what I'm saying right now, some people will not believe it until one Oyibo man comes to say it to them. Unfortunately, most Oyibo man will not say this to you. I was before I got into this session, I had a consultation with somebody, and I was telling the person, I said, look, it is sad. I'm going to begin this campaign in about 3 months from now. I want all this Black Lives Matter thing to die down, and I want to raise the real concern on Black Lives Matter, which is on the issues of health. The fact and the truth is that most of the medications used in treating most life-threatening diseases have not been clinically proven or tried for people of color. Most of them. Most of the medications, is it for cancer treatment, for high blood pressure, for diabetes? Most of them, they are only administered on people of color because it has worked. And people of color and white people will react to medications and treatments differently. Is the reason before you see one person of color that is a cancer survivor, you will have seen 20, 30, 40 that is white. They live with it. Go to UK, you see people who are living with diabetes, living with renal issues for 30 years, 40 years. They are not dead. It's not because of only the environment. Nigerians, you see, my brother, will die. The reason is that most of the medications that are developed for these things, and you see, it is the side effect. They use this medication for this treatment. At the end of the day, something else will spring up. And they will tell you, no, like the issue of the coronavirus right now. Why have they not allowed some treatment to be used? Some cases, they will say they have not proven them clinically to see if they will have side effect on the long run. But let them tell you which of the medications for cancer, for high blood pressure, for diabetes doesn't have side effect on long use. Ask them that question. None of them. None of them. But this is where we have found ourselves. The wisdom is that let's go back to what God has made from the beginning. Eat your food as close to nature as possible. Use things. Let's stop living on importation. Imported this, imported that. Even the people who are sending these things to Africa to be consumed, they are not consuming them. For example, parboiled rice is not eaten in Thailand, where it is made from. Nigeria seems to be the largest consumer of parboiled rice on the face of the earth. If you enter any country of the world today, you enter into their supermarket and you see parboiled rice, just know there are many Nigerians living in that area. So it's a cause of concern. So, man of God, you want to make sure what you are eating is close to nature. If you are boiling your yam, make sure it is not GMO yam. It is not GMO potato. What is GMO? Genetically modified organisms. Now, many food have been modified genetically. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, there is no food labeling. So you don't know which one has GMO or not. So how do you know? Simple clues I will give you. Number one, when you see orange, normal or no orange should be bigger than the fist of a man. But when you see orange as big as the head of a human being, know it has been modified genetically. When you see the way God made every fruit, God said, the Bible said God made every fruit with, as he said, every seed bearing fruit. That is the order of God. Every seed, every fruit must bear seed. So when you begin to see fruits without seed, it has been modified. You see purple, no seed. You see tangerine, no seed. You see orange, no seed in it. Seedless orange, seedless apple, seedless grapes. Run away from those ones. They have been modified genetically. Those will affect your body. It is not next to nature as it should be. So I've given you some clues. How do you prepare your food again? Most of the food, the way we prepare them, we prepare them in a way that it loses its nutrients even before it gets to our table. I normally use yam as an example. How do you prepare yam? My first degree project defense was to study the effect of lactobacillus species on yam. And then in that study, we had yam day 1, day 2, day 3. We also had yam, the one that was peeled, the one that was not peeled. And that was just after submitting my project and all of that, I discovered that a whole lot of research has been going on yam alone. Now let's talk about yam. How do we prepare yam? We peel it, we throw it into water, we rinse and rinse. As we rinse the first time, we throw away the water. Second time, we throw away the water. Third time, we throw away the water. What you discover is that when you look at the water you are throwing away, under the basin of the bowl, you will see the sediment. The sediment is a mixture of brown and white particles. Sediment under there, that is the real yam you are throwing out. And you throw away the yam, and the goat in your neighborhood will go and put his mouth under your tap and begin to lap on the water coming from there, lap on the things you are throwing out, and you see the goat, it will be getting finer. Have you seen any goat take a bath or wear makeup before? Yet the skin is always shiny. Why? They are eating their own makeup. We apply our own makeup on our faces. Dear man of God, tell your whoever is cooking for you and you're cooking for yourself the mode of preparation. For example, we know that we should put our vegetables as the last one, our liquid vegetables. If you're making vegetables, the same thing with frying. Some of us can fry water. Whatever is not fried, we cannot eat. We fry meat, we fry fish, we fry rice, we fry everything. Everything has to be fried. Our interaction with polysaturated fats is terrible. Trans fat. Maybe you have also heard they say palm oil is not good. Palm oil is good. There's nothing wrong with palm oil. Palm oil is natural. It is the vegetable oil that you're using that is not even natural. That one is synthesized. If you ever have, when we're like keke, there is a vegetable oil factory close to Lateran Assembly. If you ever pass, just go and pass through that place when they're in production, and you will see the foul smell coming from there. For the vegetable oil that lands on your table to have the smell, the perception, the color that it has, a lot of flavorings, colorings, additives, and chemicals have been added. All some of these are highly carcinogenic. But your palm oil is natural. What is wrong with palm oil? The way we prepare it, we bleach it. Yoruba will say, "One buy epo," and Yoruba people are so guilty of this. That's why people call Yoruba people ofe man. They love oil. It's like they sell oil separately from the soup. Say oil 10 naira, soup 20 naira. I don't know how they do it. We fry everything. We need to change our engagement with our oils, the good ones, not the bad ones. Vegetable oils, all those canola, whatever. You don't need those ones. Go and look for oils that can give you omega-3 fats, omega-6 fats, and omega-9 fats. And I will mention a few. Avocado oil, MCT oil, which is coconut oil, MCT oil, avocado oil, cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil. I'm not saying Goya oil that is used for anointing service now. Some of those oils are not edible, right? When you say olive oil, it's not that one for anointing. Man of God, don't eat anointing oil. Some of them are not edible, all right? So go get cold-pressed, mind the word, cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil. Get Udo's oil, Udo, Udo's oil, rich in omega-3 fat. All of these are things that you want to ingest, right, as part of your diet. It's like time is running so fast. Okay, I've spoken about eating for strength. So that's what I'm talking about now. So you can't eat for strength if you don't understand your body and its clock. So I spoke about what you eat in the morning. Make sure they are fresh, they are natural, and they are not cooked. So how do you eat it raw? So how do you eat raw food? Through your smoothies, your juices, your vegetables, and your salad. They give you all the energy you need. And then in the afternoon, you can have a cooked meal. So, man of God, after preaching on Sunday, after having during those long hours, remember I said, let your smoothie be beside you. Whoever wants to be hungry, let them be hungry. The day you die, they will look for another parish. That is just the truth. So let them look at you. In fact, teach them to do the same thing. It will prolong and help their lives. That bank manager in your church, teach him, call him. Most of them don't know. They are not even paying attention to their health. I have a pastor friend who had buried about 3 people during this coronavirus matter, and they didn't die of coronavirus. 3 people died dead. Don't you see it's time to call your members and sit them down and lecture them appropriately on what to do about their health? Okay? I want to also advise that, let me answer this question first before I leave this point. Somebody asked a question. What about people who are allergic to cold or the danger of contracting coronavirus, about refrigeration? Okay, if you are allergic to cold, I want to know what condition makes you allergic to cold. I really want to know what the condition is that will make you allergic to cold. I want to say somebody can be allergic to cold, like you cannot stand staying in a cold, very cold environment for a long time. But I'm kind of thinking right now, taking a cold drink, you may refrigerate it before you drink it, allow it to settle a bit before you consume it. That's solved the problem for that one. But for the issue of danger of contracting coronavirus, you cannot contract coronavirus because you drink because you are drinking something cold in your house, right? Why do we advise people not to take? In fact, it's not like don't take cold things. What we have said is that people shouldn't take ice cubes, because in countries, developed countries, yeah, if you go to their fast food, you want to buy a drink that what they call soda. Two-thirds of the bottle is ice. The remaining one-third is what they will fill into your bottle. Those are the kind of situation I'm talking about, because once the linings of the mucus, the linings of the mouth, of the nose, once they are cold, it's like it becomes a good ground for coronavirus to thrive. But it doesn't mean that coronavirus will perch on you because you are drinking something cold. The coronavirus is not in a cold drink. So what do? Observe all the other hygiene advice that have been given by WHO. Wash your hands, wear a face mask if you're in a public place or public area. Those are the things that you can do. So again, like I said, if you are allergic to cold, you can allow it to cool a bit before you ingest it. It doesn't have to be completely at room temperature. So that answered that question. So I've spoken about the consumption of water for the man of God. So I think I've spoken largely about your food. I've spoken about how to eat. How the food is processed, which is also important. How do you cook the food? Eat your food as close to nature as possible. I've spoken about understanding your circadian clock rhythm, what to eat, what not to eat. So in the afternoon, you can eat cooked meal. It's very okay. You can have the cooked meal. But again, so many men of God want to eat cooked meal and eat a lot of animal protein with it. And then that's also they think is a sign of healthy living, which is not. Anyway, you don't need too much of animal protein. Let your protein come from plants instead of animals. Let your protein come from plants more than you get protein from animals. So it's something that is so common. And then the quantity of the food is also important to talk about. People would like to eat in large bowls and large quantity. It's not healthy. There is so much your body can undo per time. There is so much your body can take per time. If you do more than that, you are damaging your health. You're not doing your health any good at all. There are people who fast. After a long fast, they want to break the fast. They eat with so much heavy meal. You are not doing yourself any good. As a matter of fact, before you've been taking the smoothie throughout the day, is preparing your body. By the time you get home or you are being served your meal on a Sunday afternoon, what they are serving to you could be cooked, but make sure it is properly cooked. I've talked about that. And the volume also should be moderate. I don't even know how people can eat very heavy meals after a message or after preaching. After preaching, I lose my appetite. It doesn't come back till about maybe 3 hours afterwards. I don't know how to do that. So it comes back. So you want to monitor the things you eat and how you eat them. Eat moderately. You can take something small. It's better for you to space your food than to eat at once and eat in a large volume at once. That doesn't help anybody's health. So man of God, you want to check how you eat, and then especially on those days when you are very, very busy, your body needs to eat. You need to feed your body intentionally and feed your body intelligently. All right. So I will speak quickly on the aspect of vacation and rest. I started with that God has ordained rest, that man should rest. And now there are about four or five types of rest that people should engage in. That's what we call the daily rest. That is, at least in a day, you should have between 6 to 8 hours of sleep in a day. Try to achieve this, man of God. If your time during the night is precious because you are less busy, people are no longer around you, so you have time to pray, to study. So it means probably you steal about 3 to 4 hours out of your time that you should sleep at night. So what do you do? As a man of God, I will advise, even during the daytime, there is something called power naps, which is why I love Bishop Oyedepo. Some people, when they say something, I remember the first time I met, there is a pastor in Port Harcourt. First time I met him in Port Harcourt, he was showing me around his office, and then I was looking. I said, what is this place for? I said, that place, that is where I take my power nap. That is where I sleep. And he says, when I enter there, nobody can come. I said, how long do you spend there? He said, like 1 to 2 hours, depending on how busy the day is. What I discovered is that 1 hour power nap can be like you slept for like 4 hours. Try it. That is a sleep in the afternoon. 1 hour, 2 hours. When you wake up, you feel so refreshed. So much energy is come back to you. That is how to compensate sometimes. It shouldn't be like what you do every time, that you don't sleep at night all the time. You're not a security man. Yeah, well, you can be a security man. Um, when you do that, it gives you so much energy. It gives you a lot of burst. It refreshes your brain. It helps with your clarity. Many people who go through my program, what they come back to say is that I think clearly. My thinking is just, and many of God, they make so many decisions. You are deciding for people for their families, for their businesses. The clarity in your mind must be sharp and accurate. Let me tell you one thing. I've discovered also that most men of God who have issues and who fall, they do that at those times when they are weak in their emotions. And it does not start from their emotions, it starts from their feeding pattern. There are certain food, there's a certain way you can feed that will bring down your mood. Many people go through this and they don't know why, right? And those times they're going to make terrible mistakes. They will make costly decisions, right? If you feed properly, check the story of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The only thing that differentiated them from the other children that were thrown into captivity was their diet. We will not eat what you feed the other kids with. Feed up with something else. What marked the ministry of John? It was his feeding pattern. He ate differently, he lived differently, he was living close to nature. That was it all. That was just the difference. He wasn't in the synagogue, he was living down there in the wilderness. What's in the wilderness? Wild nature. He was living in nature. No pollution of the mind, spirit, soul. So if you cannot do that, like I was saying, but we able to does that. Pastor Adeboye, when he moved to I said, people, God led him there. I'm not saying God did not lead him there, but if you will sit down and analyze the benefit of living in that place, many of you want to go and live there, live in such a place. The clears on your mind. Your mind is clear, your thinking is clear, you are free from several distractions because you are far away from the pollution and the noise in the city. And so sometimes it has a boost, it has a toll on your health. I was driving this morning back home and I was seeing the greenery, the nature all around where I live. And I'm like, oh my word, there is no way their longevity potential will not be higher in this place than people who live in a place like Lagos. We were reading a report about a place in Thailand that they measured the pollution that has come out of there. They now compare with the pollution coming out of there right now since the lockdown of this coronavirus issue, and they see the level of sanity and cleanliness in the environment. These are the kind of world we all live in, yet nobody is working on detoxing their system. So we have to pay attention to all of this in our bodies and ourselves, and then things can be regulated for it to be normal. I would want to stop here for today, and then we will continue tomorrow. I shall not give a tip about how to fast. So how do you engage in your fast? I will say this: any fast that will be longer than 3 days. As a matter of fact, what science is saying is that man cannot live without water for longer than 4 days. So for your own health, especially if you have a health condition, if you have no underlying health condition at the moment, you can do your 3 days dry fast without water. But if you're already having a health condition, it is not advisable for you to engage in a fast without water. If you will fast, and please educate your members too. God does not kill people, but how people serve God is killing people. You see, educate them. Somebody who is working 24 hours, working in the bank, is out there, is not doing anything, no drinking, and is on a long fast, 24 hours. Even the odor from the mouth is terrible. The odor from your mouth, your oral health tells us the situation within in the earth within in your health of your internal health. If your odor is terrible, it's oozing that it means something is wrong with you on the inside. Right? So when you fast, you will know that happens, right? So the point I'm trying to make is that taking water is medicinal, even during a fast. It doesn't mean it breaks your fast. The Bible said after Jesus had fasted, he was hungry. He didn't say he was thirsty, meaning that probably he must have been taking water during that 40-day fasting and prayer. And how many people fasted for 40 days in the Bible? Only 3 of them: Moses, Elijah, and Jesus. The one of Moses, I don't know whether we should call that one a fast. Somebody that was in the presence of God. His spirit man was alive, his physical man was not alive. But you want to fast like Moses, and you are running around Lagos. You are still doing your business from the moment to Oshodi to Victoria and the Koyi to Lekki, and you are on the 40-day fast. Your body is not there. So why are you punishing that body? So you are putting a lot of weight on that body, which is injurious to your health. So do not ruin your health because of a fast. Take water even in your fast. Dehydration is at the base or the source of several disease conditions. You don't want your body to be dehydrated. And then water has no substitute. Like our brother, the God rest his soul, Fela, because if Fela who sang water does not have enemy. Yeah, he said water does not have enemy. It is true. Water does not have enemy. You need to take water. It has no substitute. Don't substitute water for soft drinks. Don't substitute water for wine. I even see pastors who drink wine and they say, I'm not saying drinking wine is bad, but they claim the reason they drink wine is because wine is good for the heart. It's a lie. Just as she wants to drink, no problem. The wine has resveratrol. That is why it is good for the heart. That resveratrol, you can get it from your grapes. Those red grapes, you find resveratrol there. Resveratrol is in tomatoes. It is the color anyway. So any fruit that has that color will give you resveratrol. So go ahead and just take your resveratrol and you'll be fine. And you want to take wine, then take wine. We know you're taking wine and we'll clap for you. There is no problem about that. The point I'm trying to make is that don't substitute water for any drink, no matter how juicy, no matter how good it is. And you don't gulp your water once. No, take a sip. That's enough. Rest it. Before you feel thirsty, take another sip. I'm using style to help myself. Take another sip. Rest it. You're fine. That's it. You can finish a bottle in 2 hours, in 3 hours. If you gulp it once, go. Say we should drink water. Carry bowl, drink it. As you garbage it in, you will garbage it out. In less than 20 minutes, you will find yourself in the bathroom. You will pee and pass out everything. Meanwhile, what your body needs, because your body won't be able to store it. Your body, I mean, when the time arises for your body to require the water is not there. It has been garbaged out of your system. So take it systematically, sip it, and then you'll be fine. All right. So all those are few tips. I mean, few tips I would give. I was talking about rest. You rest 6 to 8 hours a day. In a week, it should be 1 day of the week, and that 1 day of the week should not be on a Sunday. If you're in ministry, you should find another day to rest properly. A day where you just sign out, no phone calls, no visitation, no meeting. Somebody is saying, how can I do that one? If you don't rest, you will soon rest in peace. And like I said, if you think without you, nothing can be done, wait until you are gone and you will see how much people will move, how fast they will move. It is the bitter truth of life. In fact, somebody who, a wife, a spouse who dies today, don't be surprised that people, even before they roll out the obituary, some people already, some girls are already dusting their CV to get ready to take over the position of that woman who dies. The same is applicable. Yorubas have some very funny and they say if you die because of one woman, several thousand will pass over you. So don't deceive yourself that without you nothing can happen. When you are, just wait till you are gone. You will see how the people will quickly move on. So Paul told Timothy, take heed to yourself and to the doctrine, that you may save both yourself and those who hear you. And then the third vacation is the one you must do at least once in a year. Once in a year, you should shut down. Go for 2 or 3 weeks. Go on vacation. And it's not orioke. Orioke, that one is spiritual retreat. This one is vacation. Go to a place, travel. And when we say vacation, people just think it has to be abroad. It doesn't have to be abroad. It can be to your village. Go back to your village, rest with them. Enjoy nature in your village. If you still have a village, if you have not encroached everything and turned into a city, go to your village. Go hunting. Go into the bush. You carry gun. Make sure you are licensed. Go and hunt. Go fishing. Let's go fishing now. Go and do physical fishing. You have been doing spiritual fishing for the rest of the year. Go and do physical fishing. Go and climb bicycle. Go and climb the mountains in your village. If you have waterfront, enter the river in your village and go and play in the river in your village. Remove your shoes. Do you know many of us, we don't understand, we are in our shoes and in our socks. 18 hours out of 24. So we are not getting enough grounding that is necessary. We have forgotten how we grew up as children, running around in slippers. Barefoot. Walking barefooted has some health advantages. So you can do this while on vacation. Go out and play. Play, at least be normal, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And if you are blessed to travel abroad or for vacation, travel abroad, dear man of God. Vacation abroad is not time to go and start preaching for dollar and foreign exchange honorarium. That is not vacation. I have seen people who go on vacation and they even return tired. That is not a vacation. Vacation means no speaking engagement, no preaching engagement. It's just you, your family, and yourself enjoying nature, enjoying yourself. Go from one place, go and see some other cultures. Let somebody else do things without you being there. Let them do things for you. This message has a different part. I don't know when I will preach that one for ministers' wives. No, that one is an entire package on its own for ministers' wives. Maybe I will do the training for that one day, and I will say, please send your wife to attend, register your wife for this training. As a man of God, register your wife, register Pastor Mrs. for this training. It's a different one for women in ministry, a different package entirely. But because some women take care of everybody but themselves, it is when they pack up that we now know, hey, why? We abuse that woman. We misuse her. Everybody takes a rest except the woman of God. She takes the emotional, her husband is coming home, the emotional load the church put upon the husband. The husband is going home to go and put upon the pastor Mrs. You see? And everybody is ready. Man of God, how are you, sir? And everybody is ready to bombard the woman of God. Let her just make one simple mistake. They will finish that woman of God. When people say they are praying for you, be careful, though. Just if they say they are praying for you, just tell them, pray that prayer now. Let me hear you. Just say that prayer. You will be shocked. That is the only one they are praying. The rest is just word of mouth. They're not really praying. So, man of God, dear man and lady in ministry, take care of your health. Go on vacation when you have to go. It doesn't have to be abroad. It could be in your village. Go there and take vacation. Rest properly. As a woman of God, at least take time off from cooking in the kitchen. Let them cook for you as well. Let people serve you. You have served people. You've served your husband. Now it's time for you to be serviced. That is what that vacation is all about. That is what it entails. So like I said, it does not have to be abroad. It can be in your village. It can be somewhere close to Lagos. Just go to nature. Have a field. Walk barefooted, run barefooted. Have enough grounding, and you will be better for it. So I will stop here today. I'm going to be talking about something. I'm going to be talking about more tips tomorrow. So these tips can help you with super health. So tomorrow I will talk about sleep. How do you handle sleeplessness? There are people who are having issues with sleeplessness. And tomorrow, how do you sleep? How do you handle your sleep? There are men of God who do not know how to sleep properly. Yeah, it's not because they don't want to sleep. Their eyes will just be wide open. And they will be looking and counting the ceiling. How do you handle issues of sleep? So we want to move from our food and our diet. Now we want to look at issues of lifestyle. All these are things that will make for super health for people who are in ministry. If you are in doubt, please pray very well. Choose a doctor who has the Spirit of God and does that, who also is open-minded, not those who are close-minded. Hey, well, it's only paracetamol. Say paracetamol. You better run away. They will kill you. They will. I'm not lying to you. Only paracetamol. Only paracetamol. They are not. And I find out that most of those ones are just the ones who are just starting in medicine. If you find those who have been there for long enough, they have used all those medications, they have seen the end of it, and they know that nature in itself has a lot to offer. And you cannot shut your mind against what nature can give to you. Baba, one great man of God entered into my studio. Anointing plenty. Hallelujah. Okay. All right. So I want to thank you all for taking our time to listen today. I will continue here tomorrow, same time tomorrow, and then we trust God for more illumination. Thank you very much. If you have any question, you want to ask me any question, you can please you can put some questions on. Okay, you can send questions to this email address. Let me put it up real quick. Co-meno. You can send alabpd at gmail.com. alabpd@gmail.com. So that's my email address. So it's showing on the screen. If you have any question or whatever, you can just send me an email. I will respond to your questions, and then we will handle it. Thank you so much, man of God. I really appreciate it. Thank you. You hosted me some time ago, Pastor Emmanuel. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us. God bless you. God bless you all for joining us. And thank you, sir. Pastor Joshua Fashiku, I've been seeing the way you follow our programs and you're making so many insightful comments and questions. Thank you very much. Madam Abigail Ajiri. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. We sign up from here today. God bless you. See you sometime tomorrow.